Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto live stream. Right now, we have a really important update on Bitcoin, XRP, just generally cryptocurrencies, and you might want to sit around for this one and watch it all the way through. It's wow. All right, I'm pretty amazed, to be honest with you, with what exactly you've just seen. And so, well, we got to discuss that. We got to talk about that, and we got to cover exactly everything that is going on. But my day, has this been interesting? Oh, I don't even know what to say right now. So, for all of you that have been in here for a minute now, there's just been a letter to Gary Gensler. It just came out, at least everybody's talking about it right now. Might have come out a couple of hours ago, but people on Twitter are starting to finally notice it right now, like 40 minutes ago. Here, let's quickly see where about this right now. A lot of people are talking about this right now. And oh my days. But right now we have 300 people watching, which to me is pretty damn crazy. Guys, if you are enjoying these daily crypto videos, make sure that you press that like button just to help out a little bit. All right, just to help out a little bit, why not? All right, so we have a couple of people in. Let's go talk, all right? Let's go talk. So, yeah, Mr. Will just posted as an example, breaking. In a letter addressed to the chairman of the SEC, Senator Elizabeth Warren demanded an answer on cryptocurrency regulation by July 28th. And I think here we have the official document. Yes, we do. Frank XP coming in with the $5. Gensler is a mutt. Cannot say the same, but let's quickly see it here, all right? So, I write to request information regarding the Securities and Exchange Commission's authority to properly regulate crypto exchanges and to determine if Congress needs to act to ensure that the SEC has the proper authority to close existing gaps in regulation that leave investors and consumers vulnerable to dangers in this highly opaque and volatile market. Some people are here not for the entire document, so conclusion being, at the bottom here, you'll see she puts up 5 different questions that she wants a response by no later than July 28th. And that's again what people mostly are just talking about right now, that these questions are quite severe, but there's some speculation about whether or not this is all an inside game, basically. You know what I mean? Like, that they're all inside, I don't want to say inside each other, that they're all basically discussing this stuff on the inside, that it's all basically a little bit of a game. So, yeah, we'll discuss that in just a second, too. Elizabeth Warren, who wrote this, is a U.S. Senator, Massachusetts /her, official Senate account. So, again, pretty credible, but James Fillon had some stuff to talk about that. Let's just quickly read through it. It's only 4 pages-ish, so that's something like we could quickly read through, and then you'll know everything that's going on, right? Because I think this might be an extremely important document that people will keep referencing in the future. So, what's the harm in talking about this for 7 minutes to quickly read it through? Cryptocurrency exchanges are platforms where individuals buy and sell crypto. These I see a spider. I'll let it hang, whatever. These exchanges vary in the type of crypto they allow individuals to trade, the fees charged for consumers for using the platform, the disclosures they provide, and whether or not the exchange simultaneously keeps crypto assets in custody. As demand for cryptocurrencies has grown in the recent years, the amount of trading activity on crypto exchanges has also grown spectacularly, particularly among the largest exchanges. The volume of trading on Coinbase, the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the US, grew from $30 billion in the first quarter of 2020 to $335 billion in the first quarter of 2021, a more than 10-fold increase. Moreover, Coinbase recently became the world's first major crypto company to list its shares in a US stock exchange when it began trading on the Nasdaq in April. Given mainstream investors who may be wary of directly buying risky digital securities, the ability to own stock in the Security and Exchange Commission approved business that facilitates the transaction. The increased use of cryptocurrency exchanges presents unique risks to consumers. Although they describe themselves as crypto exchanges, these platforms lack the same type of basic regulatory protections as traditional national securities exchanges like the New York Stock Exchange or Nasdaq. And even though they share many of the same features of traditional security exchanges, such as bridging together buyers and sellers, executing trades, and displaying prices, cryptocurrency exchanges may be able to escape federal regulation if the digital asset being traded does not qualify as a security under federal law. So to some degree, they're actually bringing up Ripple/XRP in the case in this last part here. And by the way, the spider is not on my shoulder. I can see it just kind of dangling down piece by piece a little bit behind my monitor. And that's why it's so distracting, because it's going down really slowly, but just behind my monitor. And I can see it when I'm trying to read. As you acknowledged in May, these exchanges do not have regulatory framework that the SEC or at our sister agency, the CFTC or Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and as a result, there's really no protection around fraud or manipulation. Make sure you understand that this CFTC reference here will actually be a lot more important as we go on. The fact that the SEC and CFTC work together, but neither of these parties have made a conclusion, it will come to bite in just a second, but you'll see. And as a result, there's really no protection around fraud or manipulation. Instead, and actually there again, it's also quite interesting to me, C notices as well that right now there's not really any protection from manipulation on crypto exchanges. Pretty good point to make, a pretty important one. The fact that an exchange, even like Coinbase for that matter, could be manipulating their own exchange and we couldn't do anything about it, nor could we really know. There's a point to that. Instead, these platforms are generally subject to state-level regulations for money transfers or payment services, and these regulations were not initially designed to provide oversight for sophisticated exchange-like operations and are insufficient to ensure a safe cryptocurrency marketplace. The lack of regulation ensures that investors have no way of knowing whether the trading volume and prices they report reflect real activity or market manipulation. Also true, an exchange could put up some of the numbers that they want to, it's really difficult to say, in order to receive a higher ranking on sites that list crypto exchanges. For example, CoinMarketCap has a list of exchanges by market volume, and so it could definitely be that if they put numbers up a little bit higher, well then, logically speaking, they're going to rank higher, so more people will join. Many exchanges routinely fake their volumes to attract more coins and users. One study indicated that 95% of the volume of trading of Bitcoin listed on CoinMarketCap, a website used to measure crypto trading volume, is fake or non-economic in nature. This has also been proven by quite a lot of other people, yet we cannot confirm. But all right, 95% of it being fake, all washed volume could be. That basically means that if you see a number on exchanges, for example, 100 billion, it could be that only 5 billion is real volume and 95 is just fabricated by the exchange to look more busy. According to another study, half of the increase in the price of Bitcoin in 2017 was due to manipulation by a single entity trading on some of the major exchanges. I don't know where they got that fact from, but okay. Suggesting that instead of thousands of investors moving the price of Bitcoin, is just one large one. God diggly damn. By the way, footnote 13, it basically says here, John Griffin and Amin Shams, is Bitcoin really untethered? Journal of France, June 15, 2020. Yahoo News. A single whale on Bitfinex likely manipulated Bitcoin. Historic surge in 2017, academics say. That's actually pretty severe. I didn't even know about that one until I read this like 20 minutes ago. The last two pages, by the way, it's not that big. It's not that big a document. These regulatory gaps also extend to the way that crypto exchanges hold an individual's crypto assets, which would not be allowed on a traditional securities exchange. As a result, crypto traded on exchanges is deposited and probably commingled with the deposits of others. It is not recorded on the blockchain. It is represented by an entry in an electronic centralized ledger. It's uninsured, and there is no guarantee that the trader will actually get it. Now, this specific part is key, not to regulation, but key to all of you that are into crypto right now. If you believe that a crypto exchange can guarantee you're ever going to get your money back, you are wholly mistaken. Not your keys, not your money. Okay, repeat it with me, guys. Not your keys, not your money. Not your keys, not your money. If you have your money in a crypto exchange, better know that they could take it away from you. If you have your money in Binance, if you have your money in Coinbase, if you have your money on any single exchange, there is a chance that at one point or another, something goes wrong with that thing and you get nothing back. Not your keys, not your money. Important to understand, if you hold your money in a hardware wallet or a paper wallet for that matter, nobody in the world is able to take it away from you except for a hacker if I guess ledger gets hacked, or if you give your keys away. But if you control your keys and you're the only one who can see them, nobody can ever steal your money. With an exchange, different story though. Very important to understand. All right, if you want a recommendation of mine, use a Ledger Nano. I personally use that. You can use the link down below. You can also go to ledger.com. If you use my link, I get 10% of your purchase, I believe. Maybe it might be 8%. Who gives a crap? It's $6. If you buy it through ledger.com, acceptable, completely fine. Don't buy it through eBay. Don't buy it through some Amazon type of places. You might get an altered thing. Use reputable sources. Get yourself, something safe to list your coins on. But that's me, all right? That's my own personal recommendation. To just be safe with your money, regardless of the cost. Let's not say that, but at least this is within margin of cost. Traders must rely on trust the intermediary. Additionally, because crypto exchanges lack the same type of regulation as traditional security exchanges, they can also engage in practices like proprietary trading and wash trading to take advantage of their customers without sufficient disclosures. An investigation of several major crypto exchanges by New York State Office of the Attorney General in 2018 found that nearly 20% of the executed volume on Coinbase's platform was attributable to its own trading, exposing customers to liquidity risks they may not even have been aware of. The harms to consumers as a result of this underregulated market are real and continue to proliferate in the absence of effective SEC regulations. Make sure you understand that this little article or proposal, as of this point, might sound like it's mostly just a vow for crypto exchanges, right? I get you, but it's in actuality not completely so. It's mostly the message that you're trying to give that crypto is more and more for the people right now. People are more straight away, and the SEC has been ignoring everything. A very key part is that, for example, the SEC has not said anything to Coinbase when they were inquiring about listing XRP. They didn't say anything. Now, only a couple months or years later, they're like, oh, but that wasn't allowed. That's kind of the same thing which they're doing right now. The SEC can eventually come back at all this, say it wasn't allowed, yet right now these things are happening right in front of them and they're not doing anything about it, which does not necessarily mean only that these regulations should happen for crypto exchanges. It's the fact that the SEC is just watching crypto, yet not doing anything, even though it's been here for freaking years. That's the point. That's the point. They've been looking, but ain't changing nothing. Makes you wonder, what exactly are those guys doing? What exactly are they being paid for? If throughout these years, they're not able to regulate the newest and most trendy market right now, what are they doing? Good question. The harms to consumers as a result of this unregulated markets are real and continue to proliferate in the absence of the effective SEC regulations. During the 6-month period from October 2020 to March 2021, nearly 7,000 people reported losses from cryptocurrency scams, resulting in a cumulative $80 million loss. By the way, guys, there is a video coming out later today. I already recorded the video, but this came first now. I want to upload or publish it right now, but then I saw this breaking news and I just had to talk about this. I made a video explaining to you guys the different types of scams that are out there that you have to watch out for. So make sure you subscribe to the channel right now if you want to see that video a little bit later today. It's something I really recommend you guys to watch because I know computer developers, so people who develop applications, for example, for a living, that still got scammed. And there's just, you don't know what you don't know. So make sure you check it out a little bit later today. All right. And share that video if you want to or care for other people. It's a good one. About 12 times the number of reports and nearly 1,000% more in reported losses. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really care about that. A lot of these reports are not necessarily that important because it could be that 1 million people got scammed, but only 7,000 people reported it. And it could be that $1 billion was lost, but only 80 million was reported. So, I mean, but it's basically a lot more than a year prior, which also might be because people right now are more outspoken about their crypto. So that specific number, I don't know. They also talk a little bit more about these DeFi scams, which of course have gotten a lot more popular throughout the last couple of years. And according to reports from January through April, DeFi fraudsters stole a lot of money, $80 million, more than double the haul from last year. Once more, not completely relevant. Investors may also be exposed to risk indirectly as publicly traded firms amass their own crypto holdings. News reports suggest that MicroStrategy, a business intelligence firm, may be serving a kind of pseudo Bitcoin ETF. And I think this is mostly interesting because, well, MicroStrategy here and all those other companies wouldn't have had to do this if the SEC would just come up and say, well, you know what, an ETF, we accept it or we get it through. But no, they don't want to, for some reason nobody knows. The SEC has denied any ETF and nobody understands why. I mean, it's been posted in Canada. Why not in the US? They're saying it's for risk and for safety of the consumers, but why? Makes no sense. Enabling investors to get exposure to Bitcoin without owning it. Also, we're talking about the ETF. And as the crypto market continues to grow and expand, the lack of regulation to provide basic investor protections is unsustainable. The SEC regulates national securities exchanges and cryptocurrency exchanges that operate in a similar manner should be subject to similar regulatory standards. Debatable, but all right, it's about an idea. By the way, this all would not be good if crypto exchanges get heavy regulations, even though the honest part about it is, well, these regulations need to come anyway, and all the wash trading, if it all were to be gone and all of that, would all be good. However, the initial wave would not be nice. And that basically means that all these exchanges are going to have some restrictions on them, and people might not be able to use them for a little bit, and all of that might be seen as some FUD. So initially not that nice, but in the end of things, it's necessary. And yeah, I mean, like what in the chat box says, no exchange is safe forever. Partially true. Every exchange is going to go through some annoying thing at one point or another. To better understand the SEC's existing authority to protect consumers and investors who participate in crypto exchanges and the potential needs for Congress to take additional action on these matters, I ask you that you provide a response to the following questions by no later than July 28th. And now, guys, it gets interesting. Are you in your seatbelt? Make sure you press that like button if you like that I just was here as soon as I possibly could. All right, this news just came out. We just got this letter. Make sure you press the like button if you are, supporting the live streams really quickly here. I did my best. 1. Do you believe that cryptocurrency exchanges are currently operating in a fair, orderly, and efficient manner? If not, what problems has the SEC identified that are associated with the use of these exchanges? Now, this might not sound like too much of a loaded question. It might sound really, simple, plain Jane. It's actually not. Because theoretically speaking, Gary Gensler should come in and say that the SEC did not react properly to exchange requests. What do I mean with that? Well, since Coinbase, for example, asked the SEC what they should do with XRP and the SEC didn't really tell them not to list it, this is a key problem that the SEC has made and that they're actually not really referencing right now. In the Ripple v. SEC lawsuit, fair notice is a really important subject. But if you kind of, look at it from the same perspective, well, shouldn't they then give out that they made a mistake or that they are not sure what to tell exchanges regarding the listing of different crypto? Honestly, that's a really big part that's wrong with the exchange system that's working right now. The SEC, as it stands, does not know what to tell them about listing different currencies. And so, are they orderly and working in an efficient manner? Well, potentially yes, potentially no, because there are a couple of problems that are associated with the use of these exchanges and what exactly they are allowed to do and whatnot, right? It's key. Then, number 2. And number 2 here has a lot more loaded stuff next to it, so stick around. How do the characteristics of assets traded on crypto exchanges differ from those assets traded on traditional securities exchanges? In an easy fashion, what's the difference between a crypto and a security? That's actually what this question is right now. Are you guys seeing it? What are the characteristics of assets traded on crypto exchanges? So the characteristics of, these cryptos on crypto exchanges differ from those assets, basically securities, on traditional security exchanges. What's the difference? Do these characteristics warrant additional investor and consumer protections? Basically, should they be treated differently for crypto exchanges relative to those provided for traditional exchanges? Is there a difference between cryptocurrencies and securities, and should they be handled differently by exchanges? That's the question that's being put up. This question is going to be extremely important, and James also came back and actually addressed that. XRP community, this is an orchestrated power play by Gensler, Senator Warren, and the SEC News to outflank the CFTC for control of the crypto space. Senator Warren gave Gensler every opportunity to say the SEC must control things. The only thing she didn't ask him is if he wanted a puppy. One thing we can see here is Ron Hammond first saying, here's the text of Senator Warren's letter to the SEC Gary Gensler. She asked for a response by July 28th. Gensler and Warren are uniquely close, and it is likely the SEC saw this letter before it was publicly sent, common practice among staffers. There's a very good chance that they worked together with all of this and knew what they were doing and wanted to kind of, go over it in this manner. You guys get what I'm trying to say right there? It's a very good chance that Gary Gensler approved all of this and wanted these questions to be asked, because right now you might think the SEC is under fire. It might be so. But from a different perspective, it could also be that the SEC wanted to answer these questions for negativity. Now, Titan says, oh damn, the SEC is under fire now, poor Gensler. In my opinion, this is Jay Clayton's fault for not going after exchanges, instead attacking a company. Knowing the risks that the Congress is addressing, what an asshat. He wasn't doing his job instead of now bullying Ripple. Get off your asses and regulate the exchanges. As far as DeFi, that ain't going nowhere. You better find a solution for consumer protection like your mission states. Okay, so this guy, even though I follow him, I think he's got the wrong picture. I don't think he actually read the document either. Hopefully you guys have read it with me by now or just kind of listened to what I said, because that's not the point. he's missing a crucial point, which is the fact that they are regulating crypto exchanges all the way through. Partially, I mean, that's part of the letter. The part more so is actually about this number 2, which is basically what's the difference between a cryptocurrency and a security. It's a key question, but it doesn't really sound like a bad thing for Gensler. I think Gensler's just going to call them the same thing, basically, and kind of pull over as if all of that stuff should be the same, which would not be nice. But we'll see. We'll get an answer in a couple of weeks, so I guess that's cool. Then 3, describe the extent of the SEC's existing authority, and this is, again, a key part of Ripple. Why? I'll get to in just a second. Describe the extent of the SEC's existing authority to regulate existing crypto exchanges. To what extent does that authority differ from the agency's authority over traditional securities exchanges? So in the Ripple case specifically, one question being brought up is exactly how these cryptos work in terms of regulation because, well, they are decentralized. And since these things are decentralized networks and there's even decentralized exchanges right now and whatnot, should they all be considered in the exact same fashion? Should they all have the exact same rules? And should the SEC have the exact same power over them? It's a really common question, and there's not really an answer just quite yet. And so it's a good question to have brought up. Once more, we don't know if Gary Gensler and Warren are working together here, but it's interesting. Then, foreign regulators, whom the SEC has called upon a couple of times, also in the Ripple case, have moved to restrict crypto exchanges in their jurisdictions in recent years while calling for international coordination to address regulatory gaps. One specific regulatory challenge may arise from the unique organizational structure of some global exchanges. And a good example of this, before we go on reading, is Binance. It's actually saying that right afterwards. Binance is a Byzantine structure, which basically means that Binance has no headquarters and is basically split over 50 different countries with some small companies everywhere. Now, if you want to regulate that, what entity of Binance are you going to go for or go after? It's such a freaking rabbit hole, it's going to be really difficult to find exactly who to sue or where the jurisdiction lies because the money is kind of everywhere and the regulation is kind of everywhere. They did that elaborately, deliberately. Binance denies that kind of. They said they want to work with everything. Well, debatable. By the way, guys, where are you all watching from? We have almost 800 people watching and only 100 likes pressed. If you haven't pressed that like button just quite yet, make sure you press it right now to support the channel. And if you aren't subscribed, there's more videos that are interesting about XRP, about crypto, about regulation, whatever, that are coming up next. So you might want to do that real quickly too. But damn, 800 people, that's crazy. That's the best number in a little while here. Pretty cool. But let me know in the chat box where you guys are watching from. I always like to see that. We got Utah, we got Virginia. We got Syracuse, New York. Nassau, Bahamas, UK. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Okay. Well, example is Binance, one of the largest crypto exchanges in the world by trading volume. It's everywhere and yet based nowhere. The cryptocurrency exchange has processed trillions of dollars in trades this year as it transfers digital and conventional money around the world through a constellation of affiliates. And yet, it has no headquarters. In your view, to what extent is international coordination needed to address gaps in the regulation of crypto exchanges and ensure the protection of investors and consumers in the US? Now, this specific point here, I would like to say that this might be for a multitude of reasons. It could be because the SEC actually, through this question, wants to get power to kind of put its wishes throughout everywhere around the world. What I mean with that is that right now, if the SEC makes a choice, that choice doesn't have to be respected by any other entity in the world. And the SEC might, through this question right now, kind of put up the proposal that they want to work with other regulators in the world to all come to the same conclusion and basically push their narrative down on every other country. Right now in Japan, XRP is properly regulated. But in the US, well, there's a question. And in some other country in the future, maybe, it might be seen as a security, for example. Could that be so? And if so, well, should that be right? And how these exchanges are handled, basically, they want to kind of most likely come together in some way, shape, or form to make more money and get the U.S. more power in that sense. But whatever, man, whatever. And then in recent address, this is number 5, in a recent address, the CFTC, or the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, Commissioner Dan M. Berkowitz stated, in a pure, peer-to-peer decentralized finance system, there is no intermediary to monitor markets for fraud and manipulation, prevent money laundering, safeguard deposited funds, ensure counterparty performance, or make customers whole when processes fail. A system without intermediaries is a Hobbesian marketplace with each person looking out for themselves. Caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. Berkowitz further argues that DeFi derivative instruments are likely illegal under the Commodities Exchange Act. The question is, do you agree with the Commissioner Berkowitz's assessment on DeFi platforms? Yes and no. I mean, if it's a smart contract, there's rules in place, and so the fact that some parties, or this here, the counterparty performance cannot be, ensured is questionable. In a smart contract, that's literally the purpose of smart contracts, right? And I mean, Chainlink 2.0 here is also coming in and making it a little bit of a, next step with these better smart contracts even, but this specific thing here, I don't know, man. I mean, a smart contract literally is one of the safest things you can have. It's just about whether or not you understand the smart contract and whether or not there's a caveat found somewhere along the system. But the contract itself is the truth. So, I mean, that part, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that one. Then question 2 of 5, do decentralized platforms raise similar investors and consumer protection concerns within the SEC's jurisdiction? And if so, what challenges does the SEC face in addressing these concerns? Then, do the characteristics of decentralized cryptocurrency exchanges, okay, these are decentralized cryptocurrency exchanges, so DEXs, warrant additional investors and consumer protections relative to those needed for centralized crypto exchanges, which is basically, okay, that's just a normal question, I guess. Whether or not decentralized crypto exchanges should have the same type of rules or protections as normal cryptocurrency exchanges. Also difficult because, well, think about it, guys. Under which jurisdiction does a decentralized exchange fall? Really difficult for me to even say that. Really difficult to say that. Thank you for all the attention. This is an important matter, and I look forward to your response, again, by July 28th, guys. Whew. Since they're friends, and since they're in this game together, I do think there's a really good chance that we'll see an answer. Theoretically speaking, it could all be ignored, right? But then again, it's coming from the U.S. freaking Senate. So I'm not exactly sure how those rules work over there. Let me not speculate, please, guys. I'm not a freaking genius on that matter. It could be a bigger game. But let's quickly see again what James said. This is an orchestrated power play by Gensler and Senator Warren, and the SEC to outflank the CFTC for control over the crypto space. So right now it's being said that the CFTC, right, at the bottom tier as well, all the way down here, has some control over things. But the question actually is also, should they have? That's one question being put up. And to what extent does the SEC have jurisdiction? It's a good question. Now, the Senator Warren gave Gensler every opportunity to say the SEC must control things. The only thing she didn't ask him is if he wanted a puppy. If crypto was not considered a security, this is a question from Scott, then the SEC would have zero jurisdiction over crypto. So is this power play to force crypto into a security status so that the SEC can regulate it? And James says, look at question 2. First, he would say virtually all crypto is a security. And second, even if some crypto is not a security, if the SEC controls the exchanges, they set the rules for what is traded. It's a front and backdoor play. And that's a really good question that I'm not sure exactly how this is going to kind of pull through in. But I mean, if what he's saying is true, that's a really bad deal. So seeing this as a good thing is also definitely debatable. It's an ultimatum, all right, but is it a good one? Because as it stands, there's really nothing to win for us. The only thing we could win is if Gary Gensler publicly says that not all cryptocurrencies are securities and that not all cryptocurrency exchanges are subject to SEC regulation. However, that's the big part. If the cryptocurrency exchanges are not handled by the CFTC but by the SEC, that means basically what those cryptocurrency exchanges handle in are securities, which again comes back to the point number 1, which is that all cryptocurrencies inherently are securities unless, taken out. But hypothetically speaking, if a Bitcoin exchange only handling Bitcoin is considered a securities exchange or basically a entity handled by the SEC, well, how does that work? Because the exchange, then theoretically speaking, does not handle any single security, only Bitcoin, which is considered a non-security. How would that go about? So him giving the answer of no, every cryptocurrency exchange is subject to regulation by the SEC would be a very big blow to the integrity of this market. Would be really strange. I don't know exactly how we would view that, guys, but what do you guys think in the chat box? Let me quickly see. Let's ask this, right? Let's, without my bias, let's ask. Was this, let's ask it differently. Is this ultimatum a good thing? Yes, no. All right, I'll ask the community here in the poll feature. If you don't know and you have maybe as an answer, just don't answer the poll. Or put what you are mostly resembled by. So just put yes if you think more so yes than no, and press no if you don't. You guys get the picture. All right, we got 26 instant votes. You guys are fast with that. It was even before I could click. All right, let's quickly see. We'll actually get our results and maybe like 100 votes or so we know a little bit. There's 800 people watching, so that shouldn't be too difficult. Just quickly, guys, there's a poll in the chat box, and you can press yes or no on the question of whether or not this ultimatum is a good thing. And please just quickly press the little button so we know what the people are thinking. Because ultimately, that's all we have. Okay, so we have 102 people who voted, and the split is basically 2/3, 1/3. 2/3 say yes, 1/3 says no. In the chat box, guys, please put why you think yes and why you think no. My own personal thoughts is yes, it's a positive development because any ultimatum is eventually good for crypto regulations, and it's necessary. So yeah, it's good. It's bad, however, in the sense that if you think about it, there's no good way out. If cryptos, by question 2, are securities as a whole, well, that's bad, obviously. And if crypto exchanges are subject to SEC regulation by default, that's also not necessarily that good. And for all of you that are just hopping on in, there's been a new letter by the United States Senate from Warren, I don't know her first name anymore, Elizabeth Warren, to Gary Gensler, which is basically her demanding an answer to, I guess, 5 or basically 4 and then a 5th with 3 sub-questions. She basically wants 5 of these questions answered before July 28th. Once more, so Gary Gensler, the head of the chairman of the SEC right now, has to respond to those. And the question right now is whether or not that's actually a good thing, whether or not it's all a play from the inside out, and what exactly the big goal with all of this is. Does Elizabeth Warren want crypto regulations because, she wants them for the good, or does she want him to, get more control from within the SEC? It's so difficult. Oh, it's really a difficult game, guys. Really, really difficult. I guess we have no way around it anymore, though, right? I mean, if Gary Gensler says the wrong thing right now, Ripple's going to win automatically. Then again, if wrong things are being said, and for example, it's a really difficult one, man. Holy smokes. I see a lot of funny comments in the chat box here. Oh, man. You guys are crazy, man. Let's quickly see if we had anything else. This is again about fraud, because that's one thing that's alleged all the time, that crypto ETFs and all of that cannot come because of fraud and this, that. Some people are saying that this is the end game, that this is the end of things, and this is a good start of the the future, basically. I'm not sure what I think about it, guys. I really am not. I find it equally scary as equally revealing. Because once we get the verdict, it is a result, whether we want it or not. Crypto Rhino says, translation, the U.S. government doesn't like missing out on an opportunity to ruin a good thing. I like that. Let's quickly see what else we had here. Alexandra Hawk says, banks would literally rather lose their customers instead of innovating. It's kind of a fun thing to mention, right? We got a lot of debates about the SEC, the banks, and how things should be handled regarding crypto. I mean, obviously, crypto has become so much more important. They don't really have any way around it anymore right now. Like, these letters are needed. Okay, let's actually ask another little question. If you still have a grandma, does she know about crypto? If you still have a mother, does your mother know about crypto? If you don't, whatever, pick the oldest person you know. Does that person know about crypto? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, oh, okay, that's pretty interesting. If the answer is no, then pick another person that's really extremely, extremely old is relative as well. But now pick a person, 75 plus, that you know. Do they know about crypto? In my own circle, every single person that I know knows about crypto. I don't know any single person in my circle that doesn't know about it. Maybe because, of course, it's my thing, and so I tell them about it. But from a different perspective, they all know about it in the news, and they watch it here and there, and they get notifications on their phone from, oh, look at Bitcoin, right? You can't ignore it anymore. These people, they want answers. And one question, I'm not sure if this is actually a fabricated story, if this is real, or if this was an example made by Charles Hoskinson, for example, or somebody else. But this is a story from about 4 years ago. At least that's when I heard it for the first time. That story basically went about a grandma who bought crypto because, well, it's an investment, died having the private keys, and the children still living in poverty, even though the grandma, for example, was a billionaire or a multimillionaire. Or, well, let's say she bought Bitcoin in 2010. She bought $10,000 worth. Right now, it's, let's say, $500 million. Well, the children might know she bought some and might want to cash it out, but it's impossible though. If the private keys, if there's no solution for that. And many guys have said, even Charles Hoskinson from, oh, I just slammed my microphone again, sorry for that. Even Charles Hoskinson from Cardano has said before that crypto regulations need to come in on that perspective too, where if something happens to your private keys, there needs to be some sort of fix. And if something happens to the exchange, there needs to be some sort of insurance. Right now, if the exchange scams you, nobody can do anything about it. That's a scary thing though, right? If you have your money on Coinbase or Binance and they decide that they don't want to pay you back anymore, there's nothing in this world that you can do about it. You can sue, but who are you going to sue? Because Binance has no formal structure. You can't even sue anybody. It's basically like it's playing with a loaded, I don't want to say that. All right, it's playing with a loaded toilet. It's playing with a loaded toilet. Let's call it like that. You guys know what I'm trying to say, but I don't want to say it on the YouTubes. All right, let's be careful a little bit. Somebody said, or Locked says, when you hit the mic, my tooth fell out. It's good to hear, my man. Huh. But yeah, that's basically the situation of today. By the way, are you guys aware of the BitBoy Ripple stablecoin situation? Are you guys aware of that by now? I have to address it, but I'm thinking of doing a different live stream for it. I'm partially thinking of just doing it in here. But most of you guys are saying that your family knows about crypto. Most of my family discusses crypto, so I tell them, when I'm rich, don't ask for anything, okay? That's also pretty funny. I don't really get those types of people in my community here too much, but... You guys are saying no? Okay, some people are saying yes. So, okay, you know what? I'll not tell you guys the full story because I kind of want to, do a separate video about it. But I'll do a part. There's this one little video. Let me see if I can find it briefly. Here we go. Once more, if there's another live stream, it might be that I'm going to cover it again. Because right now, I'll just cover a small part of it. All right, let me quickly... I have to kind of open this up on my phone so you can listen to it. Give me just 5 seconds. Let me open it on my phone. And let's listen to it together. Once more, this might show up again in another live stream, but it's important. For all of you XRP hodlers. Okay, no, why did I not find it? I'm looking through my likes, but I can't see. Has this been deleted? Oh, okay, here we go. I found it. Okay, so let me kind of press this right now. Let's go to the start of the video. Start the video here. There we go. Let's see if I can listen.
Somebody also asked.
Okay, give me a second. Let's put this sound as high as possible. Let's put this sound off. You don't know how much trouble I have to go to let you guys listen to this video, all right? All right, so let me try sync this one as perfectly as I can.
Somebody also asked, why does XRP or Ripple having a stablecoin, how does that affect the price of XRP, or why is that a big deal?
Yeah, so, well, what it's going to allow, if you guys don't know, there's an arms race right now to create CBDCs and which chain these are going to be on. We do know that Ukraine, for instance, is going to be using Stellar as their underlying infrastructure. And when you look at, Ripple create... Now, I want to be careful what I say here, because we have a big video coming out on this weekend. I'm actually going to show you guys the white paper they created, the CBDC white paper they created in general. That one will be out probably Saturday or Sunday. So I'm going to save like a lot of my thoughts for that video actually. But in general, if you look at all of the top ecosystems, they have their...
Let's kind of pause it right there for just a second. Why? Because he's saying he's going to save it for a different video, and he's talking about showing the white paper. Now, you guys know I cover XRP every single day, so I know my fair way around. I've shared a couple of things on Twitter right now that I think you guys might like or might enjoy. Some of them being things that have been proposed regarding stablecoins in the past. David Schwartz, for example, went on to actually explain the situation about how it could be done. Here's one thing on the XRP chat, which is basically the forums, a proposal for XRP collateralized stablecoins. There is this video right here where he explains it. By the way, if you don't know, if David Schwartz explains something, it is extremely difficult to understand. So, mind you, it's not easy to understand exactly what he's saying. And there's been multiple articles, like, for example, this one. XRP isn't competing with stablecoins and CBDCs, says the Ripple executives, because, well, that's never their goal. Now, with that said, I do kind of wonder exactly what white paper he has that we have never seen before. Because if he's saying he's got insiders, I always wonder exactly how you can get those and how no, let me say it differently. Why an insider would share information with an individual like that who is known to share the information out to the public. And I mean, BitBoy is a really big YouTuber. So, well, if he were to have people know, I mean, he most likely has a team, right, of people just looking up info, and maybe he's also contacting all these big guys, and or maybe that's what got him some extra info. However, I would not feel comfortable assuming that he's got information that's not out to the public. So I am assuming that the information which he's about to give is either sent from Ripple by him a couple of days prior to publishing, which I would find strange, because why would you allow him to share it before the rest of the world, which I just think is odd. With some reporters and some news articles, I would be like, okay, but David Schwartz, for example, is not that type of guy to allow that, or to be, the guy to do that. So I find it really strange. Second of all, why did David Schwartz or no Ripple employee actually comment on the matter to either say, yeah, there's been a proposal, or other way say, no, this is all fake? Why did they never come out if they want to clear this all up? And from a different perspective also, maybe he's not talking about a white paper so elaborately. Maybe he's meaning a white paper as a research paper of CBDCs made by Ripple. Ripple has made multiple research papers in the past regarding CBDCs, how they could work. And what we know by now, as I've shared over on Twitter, that on the XRP chat, good little example, there is here, for example, a proposal for XRP collateralized stablecoins. Now, if you add one and one together, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be too crazy if that's in the end what he meant, right? Huh. That's just me, though. And you might say he only makes content, like Rick says, you want to see, not the truth. That's not certain, though. Because some people say that about me, too. And, of course, we post the truth. Not necessarily what you want to see, because sometimes there's negativity. I post whatever is important to know. I don't care if it's good or bad news, I will cover it. People hate me for it, but we do what we do. However, that is the point for some others too. And with BitBoy, I find it really difficult to judge because I don't know if, for example, the prices that he put up are actually his own thoughts, are whispered into his ear by somebody else, or actually have a really good meaning behind them. I just don't know. I don't know enough about him. I don't know enough about the video. So please understand that I cannot tell you whether or not that's really, you know what I mean? Like, legitimate. Same thing for this white paper. Maybe he does have something. Who can tell? That he's not the most knowledgeable guy about XRP, okay. But it's also not his focus. Let's go on, though, because let's first finish this.
Stable coins, it's very important. It allows more trading, more liquidity. And when you think about what Ripple's doing specifically with cross-border transfers, it's very easy to understand why having a stable coin would work and be good, because that makes prices stable. Now you're not actually having, because now I could be wrong.
Okay, so another interference here, I have to. So you guys most likely, hopefully, saw my video of yesterday where I talked about cross-currency payments. I've explained to you that every single day from now on, I will do a little bit of an XRP fact, which means that if the video goes live, at least one of my videos from that day will have a thing that you might have not known about the XRP ledger. Because I think I need to educate some of the guys here too. I read 1, 2, 3 articles, sometimes 10, sometimes 15, of this XP Ledger website every single day. I've done that for a little while, and there's still so much stuff I've never seen. I just check out every single thing they have on this website, all right? There's a lot of stuff if you dig deep. And also just developing stuff, because that's what I kind of want to learn about too. Now, I personally feel as if it's kind of my responsibility to also make sure that, since I talk about the XRP every single day, that I need to tell you guys again about why exactly we talk about it, and why exactly this technology sounds like such a good idea in my head. But one thing we covered specifically yesterday, and by the way, guys, today we will be covering escrows, because one guy requested that earlier in the live stream. So today I'll cover escrows a little bit more in depth. What we covered yesterday was basically the explanation of how XRP could facilitate these cross-currency payments in an easier fashion. There's a feature called auto bridging, which basically decides whether or not the direct pair, so basically going from US dollar to Mexican peso, would be cheaper, or going from USD to XRP to Mexican peso. Now, that's one part. Another part is actually David Schwartz in either his video or his proposal. Not exactly sure where exactly, but he's explained it before. Explaining how, let me see where it was. Let me see. Maybe it's here. Well, basically the point being that that XRP could be cheaper than a stablecoin. I'm not sure why I have it open anymore, but let's see. Oh, here we go. He's confused, and that's okay. Something that needs to be cleared up, though, it's actually, not always, but sometimes more volatile to transfer fiat versus using XRP due to how fast the transaction speed is. That's, again, something he'll talk about in just a second, though. Let's quickly hear him out, because I have an important point to make.
I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that the actual back end of these money transfers still is probably slow, right? Like Ripple's doing stuff on the front end to get the money there quicker. But at the end of the day, if you're going to send $100,000 US over to somewhere else in a different country, then that money's still got to eventually get there in cash, right?
What? So I believe what he is attempting to say is that if you want to send $100,000 cash to somebody, that eventually is going to have to get there in cash. Or if you want to send somebody $100,000 that eventually is going to get there into cash, it has to. Well, there's a couple of things to say on that. First of all, no, it doesn't have to. I mean, obviously, obviously it doesn't have to. It depends on what type of connection you make. And also, I believe one of the things he's trying to say is that if these XRP transfers happen, the quickness happens on the front end, not in the back end. Of course, that's also kind of a strange assumption to make, but I think he's forgetting how Ripple would like to get rid of the Nostro Vostro system. Because this point makes absolutely no sense. I believe that he's trying to say that in the end of things, a XRP type of bridge transfer still takes a lot of time. Once more, guys, please do not see this as hate towards BitBoy, because he's doing what he thinks is right, I think, right? I'm not sure. I'm just trying to quickly, to all the people who watch my channel here, quickly explain why I don't think it makes sense what he's saying. That is not a jab towards him, not saying he's a bad guy, not saying he's stupid. Just this specific part here, not something I completely agree with. You're saying not his point. What would his point be, though? The fact that if you want $100,000 cash, that, I mean, let's see. Let's quickly see. I'll quickly see what you think his point is. If you want to send $100,000 cash over this world, theoretically speaking, there's no fast way about it except for freaking plane. If you want to send $100,000 cash, you're going to have to mail it. If you want to actually go through a money transmitter or a financial service provider, well, then what? So, no, I don't really get any. I'm trying to think of counter examples where my theory doesn't make sense, but I can't think of any. Any theory I just kind of put up here makes absolutely no sense. The counters. So, for example, if you want to send $100,000 to the end of the world, other side, the whole point is that it doesn't need cash, right? The whole point is that you don't have to send the entire money over, and the whole point of XRP is that you don't have this Nostro Vostro system where dollars need to be in the one part of the world and the other currency needs to be in another part of the world. That's the whole point. So, no, you don't have to transfer that over the back end of things, in literal sense. But, maybe I'm seeing it wrong. Could also be. Please understand. I'm also just a human. Maybe I'm completely in the wrong here. Okay, so he is saying that with XRP having its own stablecoin, it will be immediate liquidity, and they could use the stablecoin to set the market. I don't think so. You're saying that it will be immediate liquidity. What exactly is the difference, though, between the XRP itself and the stablecoin in the sense of liquidity? I don't know about that one. You mean that they're using... No, I don't know. Please explain to me. Let's see.
Yep. I think. I don't know the dynamics of how the actual transferring works on Ripple, but I assume they're still on the back end that's got to work. So you would think some volatility of the price of XRP could, come into play there. So having a stablecoin could delete.
And that's the key. All right. So that specific part is what I was waiting for here. I believe that he thinks that the XRP transfer in the front end. So for example, with Bitcoin, even a one confirmation would take a really slow amount of time. It doesn't take long. And for XRP, for the front end, when it says you have received your XRP, it takes 1 second, for example. And when you actually get it, when it's actually approved enough by the blockchain, it takes maybe, let's say 4, 10, whatever, a couple of seconds for it to be confirmed. I think he believes that a transfer of XRP is still kind of a Bitcoin type of system where it takes a long time for it to actually be confirmed. Or he's forgetting that through the transfer and the way that Ripple is building these things, this long process of, for example, a couple of hours or a couple of days is not necessary anymore. And he's thinking maybe that a stablecoin could fix that entire problem. There's a couple good things about stablecoins, don't get me wrong, but what he's saying right now, it doesn't make too much of a sense because the volatility in this 4-second period is nearly nothing. And there's not a couple of days or couple of hours that you have to wait.
Volatility and make it much easier. So they call me the supreme leader of XRP now. The irony. Wow. You guys know my love for XRP is fueled by TJ's hatred.
And that's pretty funny. There was actually a lot of people who quoted this one saying, being really angry with that he said he's the, what does he say? The king of XRP or something like that? I don't know about that, man. I don't know. Why talk about BitBoy? He knows listening to you. Well, because his videos get hundreds of thousands of views, and so people quote him all the time in my comment section. So I have to address it. I have to give my opinion and talk about what I think. And if I'm wrong, I will always admit, hey, I was wrong, sorry. And if he's wrong, we should quickly discuss that and talk about it. Am I saying he's a bad guy? No. Am I saying he's necessarily wrong? No. I would like to discuss that with you guys and come to a good conclusion so we can ultimately find out the truth. In the end of things, I don't care who provides the information. I don't care for what reason he provides information, as long as it's good. And as I just said, if I provide you the wrong info, please tell me. I will try to rectify myself and I will do my best to make it right, which again could always be. Once more, no hate towards him. Please don't see it that way. I'm not trying to make him look bad. But all right. So let's actually quickly go through the proposal then. I'll do another separate video on this without all the nonsense next to it right now. And for all of you that were wondering about why the video is titled this way, I have to sometimes keep explaining this because we've been streaming for a little while. The United States Senate, Elizabeth Warren, posted a letter towards Gary Gensler, basically explaining to him that he has 20-ish days to come back and respond to these 5 questions regarding the status of cryptocurrencies and crypto exchanges in the United States. He has to respond to those 5 questions, which are the questions of, what is the difference between a traditional security and a cryptocurrency? What is the difference between a cryptocurrency exchange and a normal exchange? And so forth and so on. He has to basically expand on all of that, which is an ultimatum, because he has to basically break some ties and break some markers, which is going to be interesting. All right, so let's quickly read the proposal here. All right, why not? Once more, guys, Joel Katz, David Schwartz's ideas and proposals are extremely difficult. And Fullerene here says that Elizabeth Warren is a dinosaur. The SEC will probably ignore her. I'm not sure how that works. I cannot tell you if these things can just be ignored, and I can also not know for a fact if Gary Gensler and Warren actually have this bond that James Fillon, for example, talks about. James Fillon is a defense lawyer, former federal prosecutor. A lot of his, he sounds like he knows his stuff. So when he says that they know each other and they have a little bit of a link made to kind of set the system up against itself. And you guys are really toxic towards BitBoy. Holy smokes. There's some hatred here. Oh, damn. That's interesting. Trayvon says you found it. What exactly did you find? Somebody says, come in late, Dusty here. Are you saying XRP is going to become a stablecoin or run new stablecoins on the XP ledger? Ooh, very, very, okay. Once more, I will address those things a little bit later, so do not worry about it. But XRP becoming a stablecoin itself is a loaded question, because if you're talking about whether a stablecoin could be pegged to XRP, that could always happen. If you're talking about XRP itself becoming a stablecoin, that's obviously impossible because it's not a stablecoin. It cannot all of a sudden change. All of a sudden, the entire dynamics of the crypto would change. That would be odd. And exactly what the plan for that one is and whether or not it's about to happen. So, for example, a XRP collateralized crypto. That's again a kind of different thing, but there's a lot of possibilities. And that's why we have to read the proposal. Once more, guys, I will make another video about this. So if you came in late right now, or some people most likely pressed away because they were watching the only part about the draft, I'll make a video about this explaining the situation once more. So if you don't want to watch anymore, no worries. I will talk about it again. Okay. One of the original use cases for the XP ledgers in 2012 was using the built-in decentralized exchange to exchange between stablecoins and to exchange stablecoins for XRP. Currently, only stablecoins that have a backer/issuer are supported. By the way, guys, if you aren't yet, I recommend you all to subscribe to the channel. Right now, I think during this whole stream, nobody has actually subscribed to the channel, which I find odd. There's 800 people. There must be some people who are new and that enjoy the content and watch more often. Make sure you quickly subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying this type of stuff. And we have, let's quickly check, We have had 11,000 people watch this stream over the last hour, and there's only 400 likes pressed. Something wrong, right? Make sure you press that button if you want to support me a little bit. You don't have to, but it helps. We propose adding a collateralized stablecoin feature to the XRP ledger. The key distinguishing property of this proposal is that the stablecoin is always redeemable for XRP on the ledger from the collateral pool. So, for example, if you hold 1 unit of USD stablecoin, you can make on-ledger payments at any time, just as if you held $1 worth of XRP. We propose a scheme as follows, and I'm sometimes thinking maybe this is what Bitcoin referred to. Why can't I rewind or skip? I think after the stream is finished, you'll be able to. I maybe just put it off at the start of the stream. I sometimes have to change these settings. So if you can't rewind or skip, maybe a little bit later after the stream is finished. So maybe like a couple of minutes when I'm done. so don't worry about it, my guy. It will fix itself. Sometimes you can actually rewind or skip, but I don't think I turned it on this stream by accident. Well, whatever. So this is what they propose. Anyone may place XRP into position that they own. If the position is sufficiently collateralized, it may issue a stablecoin. Position owners may adjust the XRP in their positions so long as it maintains sufficient collateral. Position owners may issue and redeem stablecoins in their positions so long as it maintains sufficient collateral. And already I'm feeling freaking nausea in my stomach or in my head. I don't know where you feel that in the... where do you feel nausea? I don't know. I feel nauseous. Because I already understand here that this is about to get really difficult to understand. Every single time I read whatever he posts, I just get freaking sad. Because I know it's about to become a hard journey to understand exactly what he's written down. That's why I also watched the video. But after watching this twice, I still don't properly understand the entire proposal. I'm not going to lie to you. You might say, oh, but it's so simple. I watched it too. Is it really though? Is it really though? I don't think so, man. I have watched it twice by now. I actually watched it once, maybe like back then, and once just now. Phew, and still I'm having a hard time, all right? I'm having a hard time understanding the exact proposal. But, yeah, let me actually also look up if there is a XRP stablecoin white paper. Let me actually type in if there's an official one. Okay, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. I typed in that. Look at what I found. First link is ripple.com/CBDC whitepaper 2020. It does not include stablecoin necessarily, but it's a white paper on the Ripple website. We have the reserve, which does not mention XRP necessarily. This is from just now, from Begin Crypto. White paper confirmed. This is the BIS with their talks of Ripple and stablecoins. How do stablecoins work? Distributed ledger technology and, okay, cross-border institutional payments white paper instead of institutions. Okay, let's, wait, okay, so this one says you're at Capco, distributed ledger technology and blah, 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 cross-border payments, institutional payments white paper. Instead, the institutions could utilize a stablecoin of choice, such as Ripple. Maybe that means something. We're just trying to figure out exactly what this guy has found. Is it really inside info, or is it something that was out there for a long time? Good question. Very good question. We will not find the answer until after the fact. So, yeah, pretty shortly, I guess, Saturday or Sunday, we're going to be hearing what BitBoy had to say and what paper he had. And I guess from there on forward, we can start to explore whether or not he's been scamming the people, or whether or not he actually had some inside info, or whether or not he revived an old idea. We shall see that very soon. Once more, guys, let's not quote on it before we know. And so as it stands right now, all I can say is it's vague, but let's give it the benefit of the doubt. And yeah, I think that was it for today's stream, guys. I think that was good enough for right now. We covered the first situation, which was basically the SEC, United States Senate, Elizabeth Warren proposal and ultimatum. We covered a little bit about the XRP stablecoin. I'll go a little bit more into that later. And, well, guys, if we all bundle our forces, maybe we can actually get inside info as well. If you guys follow me over on Twitter, the more power we have on Twitter, the better it's going to look, all right? So make sure you follow me over on Twitter at TheDustDBC. And, well, we're still buying the XP dip. That was it for today's live stream. It's the second live stream today. We might do more. We'll see. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today. Don't forget to subscribe for the scam video that's coming out later today. It's a warning for scams, all right? It's worth it. You don't know what you don't know. I really recommend you guys to watch that video, and I don't say that too often. I really firmly recommend you to watch that. Be careful with scams. Always be wary. Always be careful. Be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful.